This is the Emotion Connection, where you'll experience health through feeling. Explore emotion from a different perspective and learn how to use your emotions to improve your day-to-day life. Introducing your host, founder of the Emotion Research Institute and creator of Emotional Strength, Sharon Faye. Sharon heads up a successful business empowering leaders to bring about organisational development and cultural change. Get your senses ready as we delve into the many facets of emotion together. Over to Sharon.
This is our first Q&A session, and as you know, I've said it a million times, probably say it a million more times. I love Q&A, it's my favourite thing. And we've had some overall feedback from the podcast so far, and I'm really loving doing the podcasts, and so it's wonderful to get this real feedback from you. And I'm just going to read them out because it's easier. So someone fed back on making a real difference out there. So thank you for that. That's the aim. And someone wrote in, he's finding the homework really helpful. And I've heard people say they love the homework and they'd never thought of homework as a fun thing to do before. So we're getting a reframe on homework. So people are loving that. He learned a lot about how he avoids in life, which is a wonderful part of the homework. Good on you for doing your homework. It's really wonderful. He developed awareness about his underlying assumptions and how the assumptions had limited his life. For example, his dad always drummed it into him that you will never be as good as me. And so that's limited his life. So thank you for sharing that. That's a wonderful insight. Awareness about his micro expressions on his face. Well, that was an interesting addition. I didn't mention micro expressions, but the awareness sort of travels through your whole body, which is great. And another one, opening up to different perspectives. It's really important in life to have an understanding of different perspectives, not just in your own bubble, but opening up to lots of different perspectives. And one person said he can change his life in a moment. Isn't that empowering? Wow. After listening to the second podcast, his mum asked, how does she get back in her body? It's a good question. And episode 1 deals with this, and I'll just address this one now. So how you get back in your body is you feel your bum on the seat and your feet on the floor and the water going down your throat, and you're sipping water. You're not gulping, you're just sipping and letting it go down. Somebody shared with me that they wanted to challenge themselves, how far down could they follow the water before it disappeared, and that was a lovely thing to do. I heard that one mother is taking her Ugg boots off in the mornings, even though it was cold, just to feel the ground underneath her bare feet. So amazing. Yeah, so getting back in your body, you can get back in your body with anything. You can touch the soft rug, you can touch your face and feel your cold hand on your warm face. There's so many ways, and you can think of innovative ways of getting back into your body yourself, and I'd love to hear that. I'd love people to find out different ways of getting back into your body. And another piece of feedback which brings joy to my heart is the mother and son are having conversations that they've not had before. It's bringing them closer together. So that's very heartfelt for me. I can feel the joy in my heart when I read that. And they are both hanging out for the next podcast, and it's become a highlight for them. So that's wonderful feedback. And I've got some specific questions on the episodes. So the first episode, person writes, brilliant episode, Sharon. So many of us are blind to how disconnected we really are. So this is an excellent starting point. Looking forward to the next episode. So that person made a difference straight away. So that was great for episode 1. Episode 2, feeling versus avoiding. There's feedback for Alison from a listener, and I'll just read it out. I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed the discussion. You, as in Alison, were engaging, vulnerable. It was amazing how you were able to connect to your emotions during the interview and respond in such an authentic way. Great work putting yourself out there to share your experience with emotional strength. That was a lovely acknowledgement for Alison. And I'm just going through the questions now. So there's some questions on episode 1, the importance of connecting to feeling. So you talk about, I'm reading now, so guys bear with me. You talk about being more available in the podcast for family, colleagues, people that are important to me. With life getting busier every single day, how do you suggest I do that? How do I make the time? That's a very good question, because you can be present in the room physically and not available. So the question is about that. What do I mean by available? So when I'm available, I'm feeling my body, once again, bum in the seat, feel cool hands on your face, feeling the water, feeling the grass, feeling hands on the steering wheel. Wherever you are, you can bring yourself into your body. And when you're available, you're connected and you're able to be totally present with the other person. Might be a child, might be a colleague at work, it might be in a meeting, might be with some staff. And somebody shared with me about her previous boss was unavailable. And I said to her, oh, so was he out of the country? Or was he out of the office? She said, no, he was there. He came to work every day. It's just that he was unavailable to me. So she ended up quitting her job. So it's really, really important to practice being available. So another example, and sometimes I use a lot of examples with children because it's very easy to use these examples. So say a mother is sitting with her children and they're playing Lego, and she's in the room, she's sitting on the floor with them, and she's connected to her body, and that child already knows she's available, because the child will be very productive, very industrious, make a really good Lego, and there'll be no tantrums, there'll be no anything going on when the mother is there available. So I'm just trying to think of a way that I can give you more examples of being available. That when you're available, you are taking care of you. So you're in your body. Nobody else needs to do anything about that. You're just taking care of that. And so that automatically makes you available because you're in your body and you've handled that yourself, you then have more space to hear someone or be with someone else. So it's the space that you get. So in a busy life, like this question is referring to, you can be busy and still available. Now that's a bit of an interesting one. I'm very busy and I'm available. So busyness in life is used as a barrier when someone doesn't want to talk to you, someone doesn't want to return your call because they've got underlying assumptions. They say, oh, I've been very busy. But you know that's just an excuse. So, and the person saying that they're busy, they may believe that they're too busy to return your call, but it's usually because they have some underlying assumptions that they're not aware of. So there's lots in that being more available. Another question for episode 1 is, I've been trying to think about the homework and have been making some progress. Very good. Although it's been incredibly hard. I understand awareness is the first step. But how long will it take me to be able to feel without thinking about it? And how long should I expect to come and go for each time? That's a very good question. And the answer to that is, coming and going is a normal thing that we do all the time. We don't want that to stop. That's something that we do all our lives. We're coming and going. We're thinking, we're feeling, we're doing lots of things. And that's what the human brain is capable of. We are capable of so much more than we could ever imagine. So how long do you expect to come and go for? Well, all your life, really, coming and going, and keep practicing. That's what helps you to become more advanced. So now moving to episode 2. This is a very good question. This interview was fantastic to listen to. So raw and vulnerable. Thank you kindly. Thank you. Can you tell me more about not being wrong? Very good question, because listeners might remember that I'm always saying you are not wrong for leaving your body. You are not wrong for avoiding something. So when you're learning about not being wrong, that is, you're able to avoid, or you're able to judge someone, knowing that that is a normal human experience and it is not wrong to do these things. Now, you're used to being wrong all the time, because that's what a lot of people go through every day. Oh, I could have done that better, I should have done that, I should have done this. And it is a paradigm shift, really, or a shift in your attitude to understand that everything you do in life, in your life right now, is normal. And remember, I'm not only talking about normal experiences here, I'm not talking about clinical experiences. I'm talking about normal, everyday people going to work and, having families. So just bear that in mind, that most of the people that are listening, it sounds like, understand that. So whatever you do in your daily experience while listening to these podcasts is normal human experience. So it's not wrong. And for episode 3, tell me about the experience of stress. It's obviously accumulation of a range of emotions. How does it work, and is it good for us? Well, I think the literature came up with this idea about eustress, meaning that stress isn't just negative, it can be positive as well. But if we're moving away from the positive negative world, then stress isn't actually, you can't actually connect to stress directly, because it's a combination of anxiety and depressed mood. So anxiety and depressed mood are you're going from high energy to low energy, high energy to low energy. So instead of saying you're stressed, which is a bundle of things, for connection, it's better to say I feel nervous, or I feel anxious, or I feel a bit low today, or I feel sad. And when you take the individual emotions out and stop using the word stress, then it becomes easier to connect, because you can't actually connect to stress because it's a whole bundle of things. And what we're practicing here is we're connecting to specific emotions or whatever's going on in our life in a moment. So if I say to you, I was stressed, that wouldn't be accurate, because I may have been anxious, or I may have been nervous, or I may have been worried, but it's not stress. So that's a tip. Now the last question, which was a good one, this came in just this morning from episode 3. How do you challenge your own assumptions about, she used the example of I'm a good driver, the example that I used in episode 3, and the assumptions that I'm a good driver. How do you challenge your own assumptions about that, or about I'm stupid, or about whatever your truth is? And the first thing to do with this challenge is to be aware that your underlying assumptions are not the truth about you or anyone else. They are underlying assumptions. And when you practice the homework, you're identifying your underlying assumptions from episode 3. And that's very good homework. Very difficult homework, but very, very good, because it is challenging those truths that have become automatic in your life. So, hope that's helpful. I've given feedback, I've answered some questions from the first 3 episodes, and it's wonderful to engage with you and communicate almost real time. So see you next time.
Well, that's a wrap. The Emotion Connection is produced by Sharon Faye and her team at the Emotion Research Institute. With a vision to help people feel, this is just one way we're spreading the word. From our hub in Perth, Western Australia, our goal is to advance global research on human emotion and bring together the world's best scholars to conduct rigorous research into emotion all in one place. Would you like to help? Do you have feedback or suggestions? We'd love to hear from you. Visit emotionresearch.com.au to get in touch, sign up to our newsletter and learn more. If you'd like to support our work, make a donation. Remember, your generosity fuels our vision, and contributions over $2 Australian are tax deductible. See you next time.